Long live the chief. Cockroaches
I'm gonna do my dance. Do my dance.
Hand-me-downs with the patches.
You can hear this dance. I know you can. Hear it on the radio. Yeah.
Hear the chair squeaking.
Moaning under the weight. Anyway, I'm Corey
Said
DLG.
No one ever.
Corey DLG here with Nerd Thug Radio. That was the rudest person alive, Austin Ford. And my pseudo sidekick, Nico DLG, is here with us. We are Nerd Thug Radio. Woo. Yeah, boy. Anyway, hang out with us today. We are doing it up big. It's Friday. When you get done hearing us, you should just leave work. It's the weekend, essentially.
Game over.
Yeah. It'll be like 3-ish. Get out of there. You know what I'm saying? Just leave. Just leave. Anyway, we're on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations. You can hear us worldwide at irlonestar.com. Check us out on facebook.com/NerdThugRadio. You can tweet us, Instagram us, all kinds of other stuff. Us. That's the whole spiel there.
You forgot NerdThugRadio.com.
NerdThugRadio.com. That's a place. You should check it out. It's a website. We pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's us.
That's all us.
That's all us.
Oh.
There's it's a bunch of us on it. Anyway, that's a thing. Hey, Austin. If I told you that for 25 cents you could have all the cheeseburgers you could ever eat, would you do it?
Done.
Is that a good deal, though, do you think?
For 25 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal for you, right?
That's a good deal for a bad cheeseburger.
That's fair. That's fair. So, but not a good deal for me, right? Like, now I'm out cheeseburgers the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I gotta be honest.
I'm not giving you, like, cheeseburgers out of my pocket. Like, I'm not out cheeseburgers. Like, these aren't, I'm not minusing cheeseburgers from my life for you. I'm just, if I was a business. Anyway, I read an article the other day and it made me think, like, this was a terrible deal. Like, somebody screwed up real bad.
Someone sold cheeseburgers for 25 cents?
No, but I feel like it's almost the same idea. So in 1998, Marvel Comics was bankrupt. Okay? They were kind of struggling to do some deals. They needed cash. And they had realized that the best, quickest way to get cash is to license the options for their characters in various things. So all of a sudden, they're selling licensing rights for cartoons and merchandising and all kinds. Like, if you wanted to put a Marvel character on something in the late 90s, it was available and it was cheap. Like, there are probably some
where the trading cards came from?
Right. There are probably some really weird products, like in Japan right now, from like 1999.
Marvel characters.
Yeah, like there's probably a Fantastic Four condom or something, and no one knows about it because like Japan was just like, hey, licensing, we'll do it.
Which character would it be?
I mean, for the name, I hope it's the Thing, but if it's Invisible Woman, we've all got a problem. Although Mr. Fantastic would be a great marketing. That would be smart marketing right there. But moving away from that before we get too far down that alley, here's the deal that could have
got to be some sort of pun there.
Right. So here's the deal that almost happened because Marvel was so desperate for cash. So Sony Studios came to Marvel and they said, hey, we really want to make some Spider-Man movies. They owned the DVD video home rights at this point, but didn't own the rights to make movies. So they sit down with Marvel, and Marvel's opening offer is, hey, we know you said you wanted to talk about Spider-Man, but we like money, and we're kind of brokish. We'll give you the rights to everything. All of it. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, everything. $25 million. The guy who was doing the deal, that wasn't something he had been sent to do. So he said, I really don't know if I can say yes to that. So he had to go back to Sony, and he sat down with Sony executives, and they literally said, nobody gives a bleep about these other characters. We only want Spider-Man. He's the only thing worth anything. So
turns out
they go back and they offer $10 million, and Marvel, I think it's 5% of the merchandising rights and 5% of like the toys. That's the whole deal. Just Spider-Man. So $10 million for just Spider-Man. That's a good part. Like that's like, because that means everything else, the entire Marvel universe was somehow only worth $15 million. But,
combined.
Right. That's the weird math there. But Marvel's like, are you sure? And Sony's like, yeah. And Marvel agrees to the deal, but they don't like it. They're upset a little bit. They kind of feel like they didn't get a good deal on the merchandising and the toys and stuff, and they really needed the cash, though, honestly. And so time goes by, and they hate this deal as time goes by. 3 movies come out, all kinds of Spider-Man toys, all kinds of money. They don't get a lot of it. Then 2008 happens, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., John Favreau, Iron Man 1. Boom! Next thing you know, massive explosion. And Marvel still owned the rights to the Avengers because of this deal.
Wow.
Kind of short-sighted, right?
Yeah.
Like, 1998, you got to think...
I kind of feel like Sony had that money.
Yeah, they were
at
sitting
the
on
time.
$25 million. Like, there's no way they didn't have $25 million at that point.
Yeah.
They were actually, at the time, a very powerful studio. I believe Sony did Independence Day with Will Smith. You want to fact-check
Yeah,
that
I
for
can
me? Yeah. So you got to think, how do they blow this? Like, what do they get that completely wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think that business-wise, a big company like Sony would rather do that and be like, hey, look, we'll pay a little bit extra to
get
make sure
all
we
of
just
it.
have everything.
Right.
Just in case.
And then, because the rumor for a long time, this was confirmed, was Tom Cruise, who had a really strong working relationship with Paramount Studios, he was adamant for about 10 years there that he wanted to be Iron Man. So any kind of Iron Man movie that was ever talked about, Tom Cruise, his name would pop up right away because he had let it be known in the right circles. If you're talking Iron Man, you're talking Tom Cruise. So you got to think all of a sudden that means Sony has a hand with Tom Cruise?
No.
Okay, what was Sony back then?
Oh, I don't know what Sony was back then, but they're 20th Century Fox.
Okay. All right. So who? Look up Sony like late '90s movies.
All right, fair enough.
Let's see what they had because I'm sure they had 25 million.
Oh, they had it.
They had to have, and if not, I'm sure they got an Uncle Dave, who would have bought some more in.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you? In hindsight, you didn't see like where a Captain America movie would be any good, or where a Thor movie would be any good. Like,
it's amazing those kind of deals that kind of happen though. I mean, I was watching some stuff on Netflix. They ever see the toys thing on Netflix? The documentary series.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
They're talking about the licensing rights to like the Star Wars and all that stuff.
oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed at how many times they approach, the investors or whatever, and say, hey, look, like we'll give you, all of it for this amount. And they're like, nah, forget it, never mind. And it turns out to bite them.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like you
for
just
sure.
gotta go all the way. If you're a big company, you gotta go all the way.
Every
right?
once in a while, you gotta bet on these things. Otherwise, why have them?
Right. And to only have a few years later, just completely.
Well, and
Yeah, 10 years later, you look so completely wrong. Because Sony right now, they're one of the weakest studios.
Yeah, they're struggling.
They just made a deal with Marvel where now Marvel produces the Spider-Man movies and uses the Spider-Man character. Like, Marvel has all the power now.
Yeah.
And you got to think they could have had all of it.
But if you're Sony, like if you're that interested in Spider-Man, obviously they've made a good character, a good product in Spider-Man.
Right.
And it's not like the other ones were just garbage.
Right.
So why wouldn't you take that risk?
And also, like, they spend a lot of money making these Spider-Man movies good. Because people say nice things about Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3 nobody likes.
Except for the Sandman parts. Those are
The
cool.
Sandman parts were cool. I mean, they worked really hard to make those good movies. So you got to think they could have done something with a lot of these other characters, even if they just put them in Spider-Man movies. Like, what? I mean, how does it hurt something?
Yeah.
But it just reminds me, like, just of bad deals. I'll tell a personal one here. Did you got the Sony stuff?
Yeah, I don't recognize anything.
Really?
Oh.
Read off some movies from like 96 to now.
96? Okay. So we got stuff like Lone Star, Manny and Low, Brother of Sheep, Beautiful Thing, The Whole Wide World. I don't know what any of these movies are.
Maybe they didn't have any money.
Maybe they were broke.
Maybe
This
they
was
were.
the last $10 million. That was it. They were like, look, we don't have a dollar.
Maybe they were the ones that were like scraping it together.
Right.
They said, look, we would love to do this for 25
We
million.
would totally do this deal for 25.
We only got 8, and I don't want to tell you what we're going to have to do for the other 2.
So
Maybe we're not giving Sony enough credit.
Maybe this is all they could muster.
Yeah.
They sold an organ to get to 10 million.
Right.
So me personally, being a comic book fan, there's some comic books that I owned for a little while. They were called Deathmate was the name of this special series of comic books. And in there, 2 different comic book universes did a crossover event and merged their characters in this alternate universe. So it was kind of a once in a lifetime kind of a thing. So everyone knew these Deathmate comic books were going to be worth $1 billion one day. There was a set number of them, and each one was a different color. There was a Deathmate Black, Gold, Red, Blue, etc. Deathmate Black featured the first appearance of a team called Gen 13, which for a minute was this incredibly popular book. I had all of them. Somebody at one point offered me $200 for all 4 books. I said, "Are you crazy? These are the Deathmate books. They're worth a fortune. I can't do $200 for these." So I sat on them.
Oh, that was your problem.
Not literally.
They're useless.
They're
now.
useless now. Well, anyway, one of the 2 universes went bankrupt. The other one completely changed its marketing strategy and no longer even does superheroes. And Gen 13 was basically forgotten into history, and Deathmate was now worthless. All in the span of about 13 months.
Do you still have them?
No, when I did my shop, I sold them with a bunch of other stuff. But I had also at that point acquired a bunch of other copies of them because for a minute I was like, these things are gonna hit. And
What if they do in like 10 years?
like, well, here's the really crappy part is one of the 2 universes was called Valiant. Now they're back again and they're a big deal again. They're being done the right way.
10
So now
years,
all I need is
10
like
years.
Gen 13 to be a big deal 10 years from now, and I will have lost everything. but no,
I was the ultimate fool.
I definitely turned down $200 with it was the local comic shop would have glad like when they heard I had all 4, the guy was like, "I'll give you $200 for all 4 right now, sight unseen. Go home and get them right now. I'll give you $200." And I was like, "No, they're gonna be worth a lot more than that." And they were for like a second, and then they weren't.
Right.
And it's kind of like
Mistake.
it's like the Bitcoin thing. Like
Right,
you know,
well,
as you watch the Bitcoin at one point, each Bitcoin was worth what 18,000,
Right. Yeah.
and then now I think what are they down to like 5 or 6 grand again?
I don't know.
And then
it changes
It's all
all the
made
time.
up. That's
right.
all
Yeah.
made up.
It is something is only worth what someone's going to pay for it. That's
Right.
always been true, and I've always said that. But like, it reminds me of the Mets deal with Bobby Bonilla,
Oh, yeah.
where they're still paying him what
Still paying him.
$5 million a year, something like that.
I don't know. It's more than nothing.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to get out of here. Before I do, let me remind you, check out 2920 Collision. They fixed my car for me when I was in a car accident, and they will take care of you. They are awesome. Check out our Facebook page. We link to them all the time. 2920 Collision. They make cars look bright, look like brand new again. There you go. Thank you. And with that, we're going to get out of here. This has been Nerd Thug Radio. Have a happy Friday. Same Nerd Thug time. Same Nerd Thug channel.
Cockroaches in the ration. Hand me